So let's talk about Tesla. What's going on, team? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions, and I haven't made one of these Whiteboard Wednesdays in a while, but I just thought because of not just Tesla's performance, but I want to use it as an example. There were a lot of EV stocks that aggressively sold off. We probably had one of the most just exciting live trading sessions, and actually I'm just thinking about this. If you guys want to see what the live trading session was like, I'm going to link it down below. So it's going to be the first link down below, and it's what we host every single day for our Learn Plan Profit group. And I just think the concepts and principles that we talked about within that live trading session, you don't even have to focus on my trading, but I answered a lot of beginner questions when it came down to taking a loss. Trust me, it's a tough pill to swallow. Today, officially, I know I made a video yesterday and I was highlighting, and I was down about $500 on the day during that trading recap, but towards the end of the day, I ended up making $400 profit, which I updated you guys on Instagram if you guys follow me, and if you don't, the link should be right on over here. So after 2.5 weeks of consistent green days, honestly, all credit to Tesla and its amazing performance. Today is my first red day, and it's honestly not that bad. You guys have seen my daily recaps for the past 2.5 weeks. I do one every single day. I show my overall P&L, and because of Tesla's momentum, continuous uptrend, and how it was validating that EMA line as a support, I was able to have extremely successful days. I had two $6,000 days about 2 weeks ago, and every day pretty much closed over $1,000 or $2,000. I was so thankful and so blessed, and a lot of people were asking why I'm no longer trading TQs and SQs, and it's not that I'm no longer trading those, it's just that I saw so much opportunity in Tesla because of its momentum, just like so many of you. But I tried to do my part, did I not, in every single video? I tried to do my part for the past 2 weeks when Tesla gapped up over 40% in just 10 days. I, as a content creator, and not just as a trader, don't want to overhype something just because I personally see value in it or because I have some skin in the game. I want to talk about not just the upside, but the downside. It's actually one of our Learn Plan Profit members, Tyler, that came out with an amazing just quote or message for someone that is just getting started. It is the people that think that there is only one side of opportunity that end up just showing how novice they are in this specific market. If you are so closed-minded, if you are so naive that all you think a stock can do is go up, you're setting yourself up for failure. And that's all my previous videos for the past week to 2 weeks has been. It's not that, hey, you need to sell your position. At the end of the day, I'm never here to tell you where to buy or where to sell. That is something that you have to be able to figure out yourself. And if you can't, then you're just simply not ready to trade, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just need to get to that general understanding. And with that being said, it is so important for you to have structure and to have a plan and to understand oversold and overbought levels. And when something gaps up continuously from, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was November 9th, when we continuously saw Tesla indicate signs of an uptrend after it announced its addition to the S&P 500 that is going to take place on December 21st. And it's not until today, December 2nd, that we saw our first break below the EMA line, which began to happen during aftermarket hours yesterday, December 1st, but pulled back and confirmed and sold to levels of 440 when yesterday was at previous highs of $600 or $599 if I'm not mistaken. So from $600, it gapped down to $541, and this does not surprise me. And it does not surprise a lot of people. And although I took a loss on the day, right, I was down nearly $1,000. I had days, multiple days, every single day for the past 2.5 weeks has been over $1,000, excluding yesterday, that was only $400. At $6,000 days, $4,000 days, multiple $2,000 to $1,000 days. So I still had some skin in the game with Tesla, just like I was explaining to you guys that I saw, the potential for Tesla to continue to gap up until its addition to the S&P 500 on December 21st. But I was also not going to be so narrow-minded and think that all it can do is go up. And this is a lesson to be learned, not just for myself, but for everyone that went in super aggressive on Tesla. That's the issue, is if you're an investor, if you're going long on Tesla, it makes sense on why you're holding it long term. Trust me, I understand why you haven't sold your position, because you're probably, as it sells off, just going to buy more. It makes sense. That's your intention. That was your original plan. For day traders, or short-term swing traders that bought at the $600 level and they continue to be fed the idea that Tesla's only going to the moon, Tesla's only going to Mars. Well, as of right now, there's no life in Mars, right? So it's so mind-boggling that all people think a stock can do is go up, and then when it pulls back, it's mind-boggling for people. It's just bashing, right? That it begins to pull back, it begins to make lower lows, and if we're being completely honest, I hope that Tesla continues to gap up. I hope that Tesla continues its momentum leading up to its addition to the S&P 500. But it was so overbought that it wouldn't surprise me if it pulls back before it begins to uptrend. And looking at the SMA line based off of the 180-day chart, you can see that it still has a lot more margin to drop based off of current levels and what we've experienced as right now. Right now, while I'm filming this video, I believe it's trading right around 570, which honestly is not that bad in comparison to its overall lows on the day of 540. So what I want to share with you guys is, if you are someone that is just devastated today, first, I think you should watch the live trading video from today. You can skip, I think, the first 5 or 10 minutes, and then I get into a deep conversation of just dealing with the emotions, and I don't want to say the heartache, but of a red day. Because red days, at the end of the day, they're inevitable. The stock market's not an easy market to be successful in. Red days will happen. It is your job as a day trader or as an investor to simply manage them. And it's your intention. So again, this video is not for investors. If you're an investor, you're most likely just gonna buy more as it drops. My intention is you first need to make sure you understand the importance of having a plan. And you guys might be like, okay, well, everyone says that. Well, everyone says it, but yet so little people actually execute. In such a free and open market, it comes with the biggest responsibility. Yet people are so closed-minded, and all they think that can happen is when a bullish stock is ascending, that all it can do is continue to go up, because that is what they're being fed. That is so close-minded. There's two sides to every opportunity. And if you do not always take that into consideration, you're just setting yourself up for failure. Your upside always needs to outweigh your downside. And just like I was trying to do myself, is Tesla continued to indicate signs of an uptrend. I still saw more potential for Tesla to gap up, but I'm not gonna hold 150, 200 shares of Tesla overnight when that's an aggressive position for me. And it's depending on your preference, right? Maybe 10 shares is aggressive for you. When something is so overbought and it's still so bullish, yeah, I'm gonna keep a couple of shares, just like I've been keeping 50 shares every single time that I hold overnight. But when it comes down to scalping it and intraday day trades, then that's when I go in with 150 shares to 200 shares, because I can simply do my part in managing my risk in days like this. I would rather be someone that is prepared versus being surprised. I'm all for taking advantage of an opportunity, but I'm also someone that is not just focusing on one side of an opportunity and not taking into consideration that it's bound to pull back. Everything is. With NIO, with Tesla, and a lot of tech stocks today in general pulled back, and it caught a lot of people off guard. And this is the thing that I want to personally avoid. And the reason that this is so important is, ask yourself. I don't know how much it is that you personally invest in, how you personally trade, but whatever it is, if it's Tesla or whatever ticker or stock you were invested in that might have aggressively pulled back, how uncomfortable do you feel when you're all in a stock and it begins to aggressively sell off? It's one of the worst feelings, right? And this is why it's so important to understand support levels, resistance levels, when something is oversold, when something is overbought, because if you would have at least been aware of watching your position size, and if you were in 10% of what you actually were, yeah, I mean, you would have still taken a little bit of a loss, but it's more of a loss that you could have tolerated. It's always the position and the position size that follows with the biggest emotional effect, right? And this is something that a lot of people overlook because it's very simplistic, but just think about every single time that you put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, the more aggressive and the larger your position size is, the more likely you are to struggle to cut losses when things don't go according to plan. Just ask yourself, if you only had one share of this stock and it began to pull back, would you feel the way that you feel right now? Probably not, because the dollar amount is irrelevant. In comparison to when you're all in and it doesn't go according to plan, guess what? You set yourself up for failure by going in so aggressive when something was so overbought and it was only a matter of time for it to pull back. I understand when something is bullish, you want to have some skin in the game, but when you can't control your risk because you're holding overnight and it's untold on how far down it can gap down, this is a step of many different ways on how you can avoid putting yourself in a very similar position. And the last thing that I want to make sure I highlight is, especially for all of our beginner traders, I want you to write it down. And this is something that we talked about in our live trading today. You guys, again, I can almost guarantee you that less than 10% of you that are watching this video will actually do this, because let's be honest, it takes discipline and it takes structure to be able to hold yourself accountable. Do you guys know what it's called when you repeat something over and over again and you expect a different result? It's insanity, right? Yet you continue to make the same mistakes. You don't manage your risk and you still expect to get a different result. It just doesn't make sense, right? And one of the things that I would write down is not just like, oh, what I could have done better. I want to write down how you feel right now. What did you do wrong? Did you go in too aggressive with your position size? Did you trade with more than you were comfortable with? How do you feel right now? Are you upset with yourself? Did you want to cry? Did you want to give up? Right? And the reason that I want you to write this down is every single time that you're about to bag hold something when you originally intended to day trade it and it turns into a swing trade because it didn't go according to plan and you're too scared to use a day trade or you're too scared to take a loss, I want you to have that piece of paper next to your trading station and read it so you remind yourself not just about what happened, but how you felt, so you are less inclined to make the same mistake. Again, I understand that we're bound to make very similar mistakes in the future. I'm not here to be like, you have to be a completely different person tomorrow. Let's be honest, that's just not realistic. But it's simple progress every single day that over a long period of time can end up leading to big results and a big change. And again, that's what it's all about, scaling and learning from your mistakes. So again, making sure that you have proper structure, understanding where your entry, exit, stop loss, understanding that there's two sides to every opportunity, the importance of having structure in such a free market, of having a plan. Think about it. You can literally buy and sell anything it is that you want in the stock market. You have so much freedom, and with so much freedom comes so much responsibility, and you are the only person that can hold yourself accountable. The second thing is position size. I agree. The more money that you put in something, the more money that you can make, just like you experienced today, and as well as the more money that you can lose. It's not always about making money, but making sure that because you understand the downside potential, that you do your part in setting yourself and your future self up for success, especially when it's at overbought levels and it's only a matter of time for it to pull back. Position size is so important for you to understand and be honest with yourself. It would have been so much easier for you to cut losses if you had a smaller position, because there's less emotion tied when there's less money at risk. And the last thing that I want you to do is, for those 10% that actually will, is write it down. Not just about what you did wrong and what you can do better. I want you to write down what you feel right now, just so next time you're in a similar position, you're just less inclined to make the same mistake. So that's pretty much it. I really do appreciate your guys' time. Again, I don't want to be too hard on you. Loss is inevitable in the stock market. I don't want to judge you on your losses. I just want to judge you based off of how you manage that risk. And that's all we can simply do. Small progress every day can end up leading to big results, and I know it's only a matter of time for you guys to scale to that level. So again, first link down below will send you on over to today's live trading session if you want to watch it. It's just the raw live trading session, just like the ones that we host every single day. When you're ready to join our group, that's going to be the second link down below. And if you're ready to join our free Facebook group, that's that first link down below. If you agreed with anything that we talked about today, please drop a thumbs up, comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.